landed at San Diego International Airport. The time here is now 10:16.
Prairie dogs in my yard. What does that have to do with driving to Tokyo? I bet you'll never guess. In fact, I bet you $1,000 you won't guess. Well, maybe you will. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But here's how it has to do it. Back in July of 2005, in Denver, Colorado, I met a woman named Takako. Okay, Takako. She's walking up to the Barrister Building. It's another story under the umbrella of driving to Tokyo. It's all interconnected. Okay. Imagine Takako. She was in her 20s and not married, didn't have kids. She flew from Tokyo to Los Angeles, got on a Greyhound, took it. She had a 2-month pass on a Greyhound to see America. Okay. And so when she came, this is how I met her. When she came to Denver, got off at the Greyhound bus station. I knew exactly where that is because, I'm a cab driver. Let me put this down for a second. When you don't have a film crew, you don't have someone to kind of help you with things. It's hard. I only have 2 hands. And sometimes I wish I had 5. I can hold the camera and do this and this, but I'm actually just doing this. This is reality TV based as I can. Here we go, just open the front door. I don't think anyone's home but me. Here we go. See the alarm? Doot, 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 doot. Alarm off. I'm inside. I'm inside the undisclosed location in Arizona. Don't tell anybody about it. It's our little secret. Here's the deal. Walking into my studio. I'm not in my truck. I have all this free time to talk to you. Now, Takako, here's the weird thing. Takako, to backpedal again, she flies from Tokyo to Los Angeles, takes a Greyhound. She's on a 2-month pass to see the U.S. Okay. So this is 2005. So how many years ago would that be? Like 16 years ago? I'm vacuuming by the front door of the Barrister Building because I was doing janitorial work. This is pre-driving a truck. Doing janitorial work in exchange for free rent at the Barrister Building in downtown Denver, half a block from the state capitol. And I was in that Barrister Building. I drove a taxi, I drove a limo, I did massage therapy. I have a lot of history. In fact, I'm kind of bummed I left my Denver DVD memory disc back in my truck, but I still have some stuff loaded here where I could actually show you the Barrister Building, show you my studio to kind of make this story more real. But if you imagine, you have to use your imagination right now because I have to go in and kind of mix this and add photos and stuff. But I'm vacuuming by the front door of the Barrister Building. It's a 3-story building and the front door is locked. Now here's the significance of this story. If it was a 3-story building, I could have been on the bottom level of one of the offices vacuuming or the top level, anywhere in the building but the front door. Takako comes walking up. She thought my Barrister Building looked like a youth hostel or something, or a guest house like they have in Japan. So she walks up at the exact moment I'm vacuuming by the front door. And it's locked and she's beautiful. It's what, 25, 26. Just beautiful Japanese young lady. I must have been in my 50s. There she is. Now I have a photo that I could add to add this story. She was nice enough. I said, someday this might be a story. This is God's honest truth. I said, someday I might be talking about this. Do you mind walking through the door and just kind of so I can take this picture? So if someday I need this picture for a story or something down the road, So this might turn into something. Would you mind posing? So here's what was weird about it, how it's tied into driving to Tokyo, tied into today, tied into everything I'm going to talk about, including going to Japan. She comes walking in with me, and I'm telling her, I know this is really funny. This is not a hostel. This is not a guest house. This is an office building. And I do janitorial work in exchange for rent. I do have a rather large studio, and I have traveled. I ran out of money in Morocco when I was 24, and I've stayed, I've hitchhiked across the United States with no money. And she spoke English, obviously. I couldn't speak Japanese. No, I don't speak any Japanese. So I spoke English. So if I had to speak Japanese, I'd be in trouble. So I didn't even speak. I couldn't even say I couldn't even say arigato. Couldn't say anything. Okay. So she told me, and oh, by the way, I had this studio with pictures of John Lennon and Martin Luther King. I was making all these film collages. It's like the movie Mad Professor back then. This is 16 years ago. Before all this happened, just 3 weeks ago. Okay. So here's the funny thing about this story. She says to me, I'm a Buddhist, and I chant No-myoho Renge-kyo. And I'm like, this is really weird. Here's why it's weird. My friend Taki, who owned the Japanese restaurant a block away, I fast became a friend, but at one point he was just, he had a really established authentic Japanese food for years, 20 years. And he was a Buddhist, and he was Japanese, and he had authentic food. I loved his food. But whenever I would come in as a limo driver and taxi cab driver to get food, he was always inviting me to these district meetings. It's like underground, like the Matrix type of thing. You got to come to one of these underground Matrix meetings. He didn't say that, but he said, you got to come to one of my meetings. He did that for a long, long time. And all I remember was he would tell me, he said real fast, I could barely understand. He said, I chant No-myoho Renge-kyo. And I'm like, oh. So when Takako says she's a Buddhist, and I met her at the front door in this really weird synchronistic way, I thought, there's something to this. You know, I might be completely close sometimes, or I don't see synchronistic patterns, or I don't see guardian angels coming into my life. Maybe I miss it completely, but I didn't miss it that day. So I said, Takako, and I didn't even know how to pronounce her name. I'm still, she corrected me when I went to Japan that I'm still saying it wrong after all these years. It's more like Takako, not Takako. So there's a slight difference. Let me close the front door. Where I'm going to be sitting. I love sitting here, being in this energy, painting energy, because I consider myself a video artist. I consider myself a land pilot. So I'm going to be sitting right in that chair there and speaking to you right now. She's chanting No-myo. I know I have these dark glasses on for just a little bit. She tells me that she's chanting No-myoho Renge-kyo. I couldn't even say it. Like when she said, I'm chanting No-myoho Renge-kyo, I said, this is what Taki's been talking to me about. I don't know how to say that, but can you say it really slow? And she wrote it out on a piece of paper. It's like learning another language, and I had to go, Nam. She goes, Myo. I even took a long time to even get to that part. Nam-myo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. So, anyway, long story short, Takako and I kind of hit it off, and she stayed the weekend, and I introduced her to Taki, and you can't imagine how happy he was when I walk up to him and say, Taki, I need to have a few words with you. Do you know that chant you've been telling me about in the district meetings you've been telling me about? I'd like to introduce you to Takako. who just told me about the same thing. She said she was something like a miracle baby or some type of thing that says she was born into the practice. I think it's just too weird. So the point is, I'm kind of open now, a little open to what you were talking to me about. And then he says, well, you know, there's a cultural center just right down the street that we go to. There's a whole center. And Takako says, oh, yeah, let's go to the cultural center. Let's go down and chant together. And so we go down there. We shift from like I'm meeting her. And Taki and Takako and I go in his van. And he's just radiant. And in his mind, I know he was like, well, mine wasn't working, but I guess the Buddha nature just sent this beautiful Japanese woman to his front doorstep, and maybe he would get it. He's kind of like, I could see he had this kind of smile on his face as we were going down to the cultural center, kind of like, it's working, it's about time. So we go into this cultural center, and I don't know if you've ever had an experience where you go in a place and you just feel the energy, and you just feel like, something magical is happening, that kind of energy. Even though you don't completely understand it, that's how it was. So they sit down and they do what's called gonyo. I didn't even know what that was. And they do it because she's been doing it. He's been doing it for years. And the funny thing is with Taki, he's Japanese, but he was introduced to this in America, not Japan, okay? And so anyway, we go to the culture center and they're chanting, Nam yo ho renge kyo ho ben pandai ni niji sei sanju sananju niki go shore, that kind of thing. And I was intrigued. I went from kind of like no talkie, I'm not really interested, to wow, this is kind of interesting stuff. Well, anyway, long story short, Takako takes off on the bus and tours the country, emailing me. It wasn't romantic, by the way. When I said we hit it off, it was like we hit it off like soulmates. It was like a soul connection. So she decides to come all the way back to Denver because she liked it so much. She decided to come back and spend, I think, 7 more days with me or something like that. And I was taking her to Jeff's Wood Coffee Bar, my dear friend, which I'm going to feature him. I just did this morning, actually. This is like 4 minutes into this. I can chop this up and edit it. It's boring and whatever. But, so that was 2005. Okay. 2005. I ended up practicing. I ended up becoming a member of this group and practicing for 5 years. And it made a huge difference in my life, and it was just real magical. I think regardless of what kind of practice you have, spiritual practice or meditation practice or some type of quiet you practice or prayer or reading the Bible or if you consider yourself a Christian or religious in any way, I think everyone should have some type of practice, some type of thing that you do, a kind of a ritual that helps you to feel peaceful. I know Mike, he's so zen-like and calm and centered, and I know he's like the dude. He's like the dudist, just unreal. Okay, now grasshopper. Here's what we need to do next. Okay, I hear you. Okay. Yeah. So, in a way, I feel like Mike and I are like, you remember Cheech and Chong? We're kind of like the Cheech and Chong of metaphysics or whatever, pure potentiality or something. At least that's what Spirit was telling me the other night. They go, well, you know why you two got together. And you can have the weirdest conversations with Spirit. And I'm telling you, God, Spirit, the universe does have a sense of humor. And it's really intelligent. If you ever have real conversations with it, it'll surprise you. No, seriously. No, really. I know it sounds really far out, but it's like, it doesn't like actually like talk to you. It's not like a voice. It's like this inner voice. It's kind of like this, I don't know. You might understand what I'm talking about, but it's like, you remember Cheech and Chong, how hot they were and how, yeah. Well, It's happening. What's happening? It's like, well, just stay tuned, to be revealed, just keep doing what you're doing. So anyway, there's a lot of different things happening right now. And I'll be honest with you. I have to have a deeper level below the entry level YouTube for people that kind of like get past the screening process to make sure that they're receptive to this kind of stuff. Seriously. And then now I've kind of got Madeline, my dry van services manager. That's another whole story. That's so unusual to have a woman in truck driving be in a management position. But then she's in a management position, but she's really into this woo-woo stuff too. And that's another whole conversation. So just kind of put yourself in my position. If you get past the screening process and you're into the deeper levels of the matrix, when the matrix, do you want to take the green pill or the white pill or whatever? Do you want to take this pill or this pill or that pill or... Oh, by the way, it's just a side thing. Mike might get a kick out of this. I don't think I've told... Mike, I haven't told you everything. I have so many things that I still haven't told you about. But I picked up Keanu Reeves in my taxi cab. Okay? Not during the Matrix, it was during the speed. And you'll get a kick out of this. But, this heavier phone, I have to get a tripod. Mike, I need so much stuff. It actually gets heavy. In the truck, I have a magnetic thing where I can set it up there and it just stays there. This, I'm holding it. It actually gets kind of heavy, to be honest with you. It's like I can do exercise program. Up and down, move side by side, up and down. With my phone, it has 500 gigabytes of storage and you can actually feel it. It's like substantially heavier. No, honestly. And normally I don't sit and talk this long too. And normally I'm just behind the scenes. My favorite thing is just to put my legs up on the bare feet on my bed and just hold the phone comfortably with both hands so it's not so heavy and just sit there and mix stuff. But anyway, Keanu Reeves story. Like I said, I've got so many taxi stories, but you'll like this one. If you like Keanu Reeves, you'll like this story, I think. This is the short version. When I first started driving a taxi cab, I was the worst. Spirit told me, and I was a successful massage therapist. I earned up to like $100 an hour in Denver. I was the #1 massage therapist at the Brown Palace where all the celebrities would stay. And when a celebrity asked to have the best therapist, I was the one they sent. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying that's the way it was. But I believe in walking the walk. How I even got into the Brown Palace, I went in there and asked the concierge, I said, do you have any openings for massage? Do you use massage therapists? And she was like, yes, but we have a long list. We have a #1 person and a long list of massage therapists. And, I'm not sure we might be okay in that department. Okay. So here's what I did. I used a lot of my personal development training. I said, okay, cool. Let me ask you, is there something, that they aren't providing for you that you still need some improvement on that I might be able to help you with? I know you've got this whole list and all of that. She said, yeah, well, one thing that happens is that a celebrity will call, they're in the Beatles suite or whatever, and they'll call us and they need a massage like in 30 minutes. And they want the best person, and they want it 30 minutes, Well, the truth is, I'm calling these therapists, and sometimes they're in the middle of a session. Sometimes they're like 45 minutes out. Sometimes this, for a variety of reasons, they can't show up in 30 minutes. Okay? So that makes me look bad because I have to call that person and say, I'm sorry, we can't get someone here in 30 minutes. And wouldn't you know, I lived in the Barrister building. 2 blocks away. And back then, I didn't even have a cell phone. I had a voice pager. Remember those voice pagers back in the day? So here's what I said to her. Okay. I said, next time you're in that situation, here's my voice pager number. I have my office 2 blocks away. Okay, 2 blocks away. Call me. and I'll be there. In fact, I could possibly be there in 15 minutes if I'm available, not session. Now, obviously, if I'm in session, I'm just like the other therapists. In an hour session, I can't, because I do body work, so I may not be available, but I'll tell you, I'll do my very best to solve this problem for you. Plus, I have confidence that when they tell you how the massage was, they're going to come back and tell you that that was one of the best massages they've ever had. So those are two things I promise I will deliver. And guess what? That's how I ended up being the #1 massage therapist. Martha Stewart called me directly on the phone, but the funniest story, and that's another whole side thing, because we'll get diverted from the Keanu Reeves story, is the massage with Faith popcorn. But let me go back to Keanu Reeves and finish that. Then I'm going to stop talking and start recording. Okay. Keanu Reeves. My second week driving a cab, this was before cell phones and smartphones and GPS. I was a total space cadet. Back then, if you know, parts of Denver had these little cul-de-sacs and these outlining areas and these new developments that are these little squibbly streets and all that. And they would dispatch me on a taxi run, and you're supposed to get there quickly, you know, really quick, not an hour later, 2 hours later, they show up. Oh yeah, I'm here for your taxi. Well, he's already long gone. He's gone. I mean, you were supposed to be here like 2 hours ago. Oh, I'm sorry. So I was that kind of like at that level, really entry level taxi cab. Like I didn't have a clue how it worked. So I was literally driving back to the Barrister building to park my taxi. And this R3 came up. And what an R3 was this simply means that someone at a business was just wanting a taxi, like right now. Well, oddly enough, the Barrister building, I began to realize the Barrister building was downtown by all the major hotels. It was about 5 minutes away from where Keanu Reeves wanted a taxi at the Diamond Cabaret. So I was actually pulling up in front of my building, and the R3 came up, and that inner voice said, take this. I'm like, no, I'm parking my taxi. I'm ready for lunch break. And it's like, no, go right now. Go. So I went, and I go down to the Diamond Cabaret. I walk up to the doorman. I say, I'm here. He said, R3, I still have someone that needs a taxi. And he comes up to me and goes, did you ever see the movie Speed? I said, yeah, Keanu Reeves, yeah, Speed, yeah, I saw that. He goes, you're picking up Keanu Reeves. That's who you're picking up. That's who we need. That's why we call this cab. And I'm like, and he goes on, he's here with his band, but Dog Star, and they're playing up the Ogden, and he needs a quick ride up to backstage. Can you do it? And yeah, of course I'm going to say, no, I can't do it. I don't pick up celebrities. I don't do that kind of thing. And take off. No. I said, yeah, sure. I can do it. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm sitting there going, I'm picking up Keanu Reeves. This is kind of wild. And I'm not knowing what to expect. I'm just kind of sitting there. I'm getting a little nervous, And so he comes bouncing out. He was with a couple of his buddies, and he had jeans and a t-shirt on. He's just really cool. And he didn't jump in the cab and say, hi, my name is Keanu Reeves. How are you? It's like maybe he either just assumed I knew who he was, or maybe I just didn't think he was Keanu Reeves. He was like a lookalike, just a regular person. But he told me he was Keanu Reeves, so that kind of was that giveaway. So he gets in the cab. Now, I was a massage therapist back then, so actually, to tell you the truth, I got in this conversation about body work. Do you ever get body work when you're in town? I was trying to sell a massage appointment, that kind of thing. But he was really cool. But we had a nice little conversation. And Keanu's real down to earth, real super down to earth. I went on and did a lot of research on Keanu and watched interviews and read about his life story and all the story. Do some research on Keanu Reeves. He's actually a really cool guy. I think his girlfriend that he was going to get married got killed in an automobile accident or something. And he gave away a lot of his money from the Matrix to people on set that were working because he didn't need all that money. And he's just a really cool dude. He's real down to earth. He loves motorcycle. He has this little motorcycle company of his own. He has a Squarespace website and stuff like that. But anyway, I dropped him off. Okay. Now this was way back 1995 or whatever it was. I dropped him off and I just thought that was really cool to pick up Keanu Reeves. And now we're almost 17 minutes into this rant. So I have to finish this and I'll shut this off. So I just thought it was cool, just picked up Keanu Reeves. So was it the next day? Yeah, the next day I'm driving in my cab. And on the radio, I was listening to this FM radio station. They were saying, Keanu Reeves in town yesterday. Does anyone have any interesting stories to tell? You know, he was in town with this group called Dog Star. And, I didn't even think I had a cell phone. I had to go to a payphone. I thought, what the heck? I'll call this radio station. I think this might be interesting. So I call into this radio station and say, hey, I'm a taxi cab driver, and I thought you might find this interesting. I picked up Keanu Reeves at the Diamond Cabaret. They put me right on the air, live, just like, ding, hi, you picked up Keanu Reeves at the Diamond Cabaret? Who are you? I'm a cab driver, and and they put me live on this major FM station. And she's asking me questions. I regret I don't have this recording. I had this recorded for a long time, so I just got a kick out of it. I could probably even dig it up somehow on the internet because she was a really well-known DJ and this was Keanu Reeves. I might be even find this conversation. But anyway, the point is, it was live. So then I wasn't nervous. I just made myself, I have a good radio persona. And I just told the story exactly how it happened. They just loved it. They chopped it all up and dressed it up and they played it all day long on the radio. They played like 10 times an hour or something. It was like a major commercial. So I'm driving in my cab, driving my cab, listening to this radio station. And about every 3 or 4 minutes, I hear myself on the radio being interviewed to talk about Keanu Reeves. Well, then the universe says to me, because I was kind of asking the universe, I'm failing at this cab driving thing. I'm getting lost. I'm not making any money. Because cab driving, you have to pay at least like $50 a day or something, plus your gas. I was losing money driving a cab. So I was praying and asking the universe, give me a sign, give me something that you got to do something bad to get good, but is this something I'm supposed to do? Please tell me. And when this happened, it was like, okay, dude, is this a sign or what? And I'm like, yeah, this could be a sign. I mean, I pick up Keanu Reeves, I end up on the radio, and then people started getting in my cab and they were saying, oh, you're the celebrity cab driver. You're that dude that picked up Keanu Reeves, aren't you? And it just went from there. It just took off. It was like out of control after that. But that's how life is, really is. And this is the way my life has been. Okay, for me. So now at almost 70 years old, I'm going to be 68. Sometimes I even said I'm 68, but no, I'm not technically going to be 68 till September. I have so many stories that I've kept a lid on, that the only people that have heard these stories were the people I picked up in the cab, that I would pick them up and tell them a story. Pick them up, tell them a story. To the point, people were booking airport trips with me. Why? From my cab service? Yeah, that's part of it. I haven't read Mary's quote, but they felt entertained. They felt like, it was fun because I felt like I was like doing the Doug show, hello, welcome to DIA. Have you been here before? DIA has 53 square miles of property. It's the world's largest airport. It's United's second biggest hub. And they'd be like sitting there going, am I on a tour or what? What's going on here? One of my favorite things I did once, and I'll just close with this. I did this and I thought it was really funny. I did stuff that was really spontaneous because I did stuff like to change people's state, So I remember picking up this one fellow And I'm like, I'm sitting in the front seat. I have the rear view mirror. I can see him back there, and he gets in like, you know how they do in the airport. They just come off the plane. They take the first cab that's available. They jump in the cab, and they just tell you, "Hiya, please, downtown," or wherever they're going. And they may get on their phone or whatever. Oftentimes, they're not often interested in talking to the cab driver because they deal with so many cab drivers. You're just another cab driver in another city or whatever. But sometimes I do things just to kind of like shake him up a little bit. So this one fellow, I remember, just one of the things I did, he gets in the car and I'm like, "Hello, where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from Minneapolis." "Oh, good. Have you been to Denver? Here on business? Pleasure." "Oh, I'm here on business." "Oh, great. So I'm driving along and I'm taking all the turns and stuff. And I'm going, I love driving a cab. I wanted a challenge and I love driving a cab. And you probably would not even notice that I'm blind. And he looks at me like, kind of like, and then I said, "I've got all the turns memorized. I have to do it with timing. Like I know when I come out of the airport, come out of the terminal, about 3.5 seconds, I have to veer to the right. And then about 8 seconds, it straightens out. And then it's a long, like about 30 seconds before I go through the access plaza. And I have to listen very closely to, any sounds or anything. I have to be very acute and listen to my intuition, but I'm able to get off the airport, go all the way downtown, I can get to the Hyatt with no problem at all, even though I'm blind." And I look at him, he's kind of like looking at like, is he really blind? So about the time that he's kind of really trying to he or she is racking her or his brain, I go, I'm sorry, I'm just joking with you. I'm really not blind. I didn't mean to frighten you. And they'd be like, "Oh, wow, you had me going there. I really thought you were blind." I know. And then that would just open up, They would start laughing and they go, "God, you're pretty funny. You ever thought about doing stand-up or something like that?" So that's kind of how my whole cab career was for 10 years in limo driving. So anyway, all of that kind of, I had to put a lid on that when I started driving a truck because I'm solo alone. I'm hauling freight. I'm not hauling people. So I have to admit there's that part of me but I'm older now. Back then I was about 45 or so, something like that. So it's just kind of weird. We all have different levels of experience and personas and, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to close this out. This has already been 24 minutes, 24:39 to be exact. And I just walked in the door and we're just getting this party started. So I can chop this up, maybe, add some stuff, add some pictures. I can add pictures of Takako. I only have one picture of me by the cab. I wasn't taking any videos back then, but I do have some stuff from Taki's restaurant during that time frame and at the Barrister Building. So that's kind of going to be my style. We're going to be present tense, storytelling, and there's always going to be some connections with driving to Japan, current time and past time, kind of like that stuff. Okay? Let me turn this off here. Hello, my friends in America. I'm with my friend Takako, and she's actually just picking me up, and we're driving in the streets of Nagoya. And this is the first time we have seen each other in 12 years, and we actually talked just for the very first time in Facebook in 12 years, just a few days ago. So this is a brand new experience for both of us. It's raining today, but I'm still enjoying it. Now, I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the steering wheel being on the right side. And it's actually a little scary as a passenger because I'm looking out and I think maybe we're going down the wrong side of the street. But I trust that Takako's a good driver.
I'm sorry driver.
And I get to help her practice her English. You probably don't have a chance to speak English very often, do you?
I try to speak English to my sons
To your sons?
Yes.
But that's the extent of it. So you don't get to speak that much. I'm really impressed that you could even speak at all.
No chance to use English.
Well, now this will give you a chance, at least for the time that we're together.
Yeah.
All I have to do is remember to speak slowly.
Yes, please.
Which I understand. I don't know how to speak any Japanese. You could say anything, and then it's really bad. I can't, when people say how to say certain things, I can't say it back. I'm terrible. My host, the host that I have, his name was Katsu, I believe.
He's a Japanese.
Yeah, he's Japanese. It's short for his name is actually longer, but he shortens it to Katsu.
I see.
So I have to remember Kat and Zoo. And I mispronounced when I said I know Takako. She goes, oh, I think you're pronouncing it with an American accent. It's not Takako. It's
Takako. My name is Takako.
Takako. No,
Takako.
Takako. See, I have to
It's
practice
okay.
that.
It's okay.
It's horrible.
I don't care.
No, I care. I want to. Ta. You have. See, now you have to teach me Japanese. So you have to say ta first. Ta. Ta ka ko. Ta ka ko. Like that. 3 syllables. Ta ka ko. I say it too fast. I go takako. Yeah, right. So it's ta ka ko.
I heard English speaker. For English speaker, it's too hard to pronounce Japanese ta.
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 Ta. Ta.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Ta. Ta. Like Japanese people have a hard time sometimes saying very good. They'll say very good with an R. Instead of very good, they'll say very good.
Very good. Very. And I can pronounce water.
Agura.
No. Water.
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 Yeah. Water.
For me,
It's hard. Let's see.
Water.
I can understand because I have, I can appreciate and respect and understand. But I'm just impressed after all these years you can even speak in English. Is your husband speaking English? No? So you can't speak with your husband. Yeah. So that's amazing that you can. Now, how did you originally learn how to speak English? Did you go to school, or did you teach yourself? I can't remember because remember you came over with the Greyhound bus, and you were thinking about going to school in the United States. You were checking out Suffolk as a university.
Yeah, I just watched.
Watch movies?
I have experience to spend 1 month in Philippines and 6 months in England.
Oh, 6 months.
Yes.
Wow. And that was when you were young then?
Yeah,
Before you were
when I
married.
was in college.
Oh. So when you went to England to go to college, were you in your college, you were like a foreign exchange student?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But I could not get degree.
Oh, yes, that's fine. Yeah, a degree. Perfect. What's your little boy's name? What's your...
Is he awake?
Oh, you guys like him. I think it's kind of funny. My first host family was married and have 2 little kids, a girl and a boy, and you're married and have 2 boys.
How old are they, the kids? Maybe
They're-
2 or 3 girls?
They're very, very young. I think I'm just guessing. I think the little girl is only about 3 years old or so. And the little boy is very young. Probably a year and a half. Just sit here at Chicago's old room. Hello, this is Doug live in Arizona City, Arizona, undisclosed location. This is the underground matrix. This is the Dudress. The dude is going to contact me today. He's a major dude. His name is Mike. He's going to talk about the matrix. He has a thing called the Video Matrix, the 90-Day Challenge. I'm going to talk to him about the Underground District. I'm going to talk to him about Nomio Horinki Kyo. Yeah. Anyway. So, it's kind of crazy, you know, the whole Video Matrix thing. Here I was just a regular old truck driver that didn't like to be on camera and had not done any social media. I hadn't gone to any Empower Network events in a long time. I used to go every 3 months to a big event talking about the internet and social media and marketing, and I was mentoring with David Wood and had all kinds of friends, and I was doing all that stuff. I unplugged from all of that, and I was just all by myself in the truck, just doing my thing. And I was doing these Japan trips. That was my thing. Japan, drive. Japan, drive. You know, I was just doing that, you know, just a regular thing. I don't even have any friends here. And then Michelle popped on somehow. I don't even know how she popped on. They have maybe some of these, Michelle might probably have one of these weird things that just picks up people. You know, it's a matrix thing that picks up people when they have their antenna up, you know. Ding, 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 truck driver, ding, ding, go, bum, 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 you know, she just popped up on my Facebook. And she just started talking to me, just like Mike's talking to me. You know, we're just kind of going back and forth. I had no idea I was going to do the Video Matrix, you know. So she was sending these messages, and she kind of started hypnotizing me. You will do the Video Matrix. You will do the Video Matrix. You know, she was saying these messages. You will do the Video Matrix 90-Day Challenge. And finally, I just succumbed to it. It was like, oh, I said, Michelle, I think I want to do that Video Matrix thing, whatever it is. And she's like, No, she didn't hypnotize me. I just, I don't know, I just thought about it, thought maybe kind of a cool thing. I had not done any social media. I didn't like myself in front of the camera. I would never sit like this, just talk to myself in a room with nobody around. But that's one of the side effects of the Video Matrix. She didn't tell me. By the way, when you complete the 90-day challenge, you're going to start talking to yourself on the camera all the time. And there's nobody there. And then next thing you know, you're gonna do a YouTube channel, and you're gonna download videos, and nobody's gonna be watching them, but you're just gonna love making them. And that's what's gonna happen. So I got myself into this somehow. So that's what's going on here. But I don't like being on camera this way for very long. Because I have all kinds of stuff in this phone. And my favorite thing to do is just start piecing things together, and maybe not do any voiceover, not do any on-camera stuff, and make stuff that people kind of watch, and they don't know what it is. They're like, what is this? What's going to happen next? I'm still learning. You know, I've been driving 12 years, and a few months ago what happened was, and I'm sure most drivers don't do this,